Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Arena World Championship. We have 3 teams remaining in North America and 2 series to decide them. Now it's our lower bracket finals, the teams that have lost once playing it out for a chance in the grand finals. Cloud9 against M2KC will be playing here, and the winner will play against Method Orange. I'm HealingStat, I'm your host. Ben, Ruki, Stupities, and Zico on the desk for us here, and this is the Rogue Mage Gauntlet, the Rogue Mage Paladin against the Rogue Mage Druid. Winner plays against Method Orange in that bracket. Are we still fancying Cloud9 a little bit in this next series?
Yeah, I would say Cloud9 probably has the edge, just judging by how these teams have stacked up in the past. I think it's all going to come down to whoever takes this first game. It's going to be a very telling match for the rest of the series because, like I mentioned, Rogue Mage Paladin has for sure a big advantage on smaller maps where they can one-shot essentially the Resto Druid, the Rogue. You can find a lot of easy ways to connect with that Hammer of Justice to Cubsy, whereas on the larger maps, RubCub has to cross a large area, and that allows Wealthy Man to secure polymorphs on him and get the pressure going onto Jamili or Roasties.
Yeah, well, a lot of us weren't expecting Cloud9 to be down in the lower bracket, similarly to what Method Black struggled with earlier. Method Black did come back, though, to win the European Cup, and here Cloud9 with a match against M2KC for the right to rematch Method Orange later today.
I'm going to need someone to run the math on this, but if M2KC make it to the finals, is there any hope for the move with Method Orange already there?
Yes, there is.
There will
be an 80-point gap between them and Method Orange.
There is still hope.
There is hope.
Blind right now onto Cubsy as he is sitting through it. No sap, bit unfortunate there for M2KC, but despite not getting the sap, they managed to pull the Gladiator Safeguard, a very important defensive trinket out of the way from Wealthy Man's arsenal, along with the Iron Bark and the Temp Shield. So these sort of minor cooldowns out of the way of the cycle. The next attack is looking for a major cooldown, being one of the ice blocks. Right now, though, Jamili needs to survive. RubCub sitting through crowd control, but now out. Avenging Crusader active. RubCub going to be doing a lot of damage and healing during this time. Snuts trying to pursue through it with the Vendetta. I'm not the biggest fan of this Vendetta. There's no crowd control on RubCub. He has Avenging Crusader up. It seems a bit strange to go for the Vendetta now.
Yeah, Jamili.
Whoa!
Wow. Getting denied on that Ring of Frost there, but they get the ice block anyway from Wealthy Man. That was a lot of damage from that Vendetta that we didn't like.
Well, no, from Snuts' Vendetta.
Oh.
Roasty's Vendetta is fine. Snuts' Vendetta on Jamili while RubCub wasn't crowd control is what made no sense to me.
All right, well, it looks like Wealthy Man will be trading out his first ice block. Jamili is able to hold on to his still in this match. And M2KC, they're playing it a little bit less aggressive. Jamili's not pushing in as much for crowd control. RubCub's just sort of sitting by the pillar. He doesn't want to overexpose himself, but as soon as he does, this is what happens. Wealthy Man sneaks in a polymorph. We really need to see either Jamili or Roasties ready for a kick when RubCub is going to be pushing in. Full Hammer of Justice secured on Cubsy. Wealthy Man gets interrupted. Still trying to get the damage rolling. Jamili gets topped off in that moment. Snuts was looking to make an offensive push, but that got denied by just the sheer amount of healing RubCub has.
All right, let's see if M2KC can get another setup. Cubsy's repositioning. He needs to be very far away from RubCub, so you can see he's a diagonal line opposite pillar from RubCub. RubCub's actually mounting up. He knows that he needs to get there ASAP, but Roasties gets stunned into a smoke bomb. Close call for Roasties. His Gladiator Safeguard had procs as well as the Cloak of Shadows. RubCub continues marching forward, but Cubsy's in stealth. He has to come out. Is he going to get the hammer before he gets bashed? No, Cubsy gets it first, but RubCub decides to break it and go for it. This could be an ice block if they can secure the Ring of Frost, and they do so. Perfect crowd control by Jamili. Ice block will be forced, and a significant lead built for M2KC.
M2KC are on fire right now, and honestly, Cubsy there, he had a lot of time to pre-Iron Bark that setup. Instead, he opted for shape-shifting so that he could deny the polymorph, so he allows his team to only shut down the Ring of Frost. Unfortunately for them, Jamili was able to secure that Ring of Frost anyway, and that was the reason why Wealthy Man had to use that ice block. Cubsy has to avoid RubCub, but he can't just sit in stealth as well, because all of a sudden, Wealthy Man is going to be in big trouble. Here's another kidney shot. There is the preemptive Iron Bark, and Cubsy, they don't have nicely blinded there. Jamili actually blocks out of that blind to secure the polymorph. This could be the game-winning play here. If RubCub can get a couple of swings with his hammer, that should be it. Cubsy, though, trinkets out of a polymorph. This means that Roasties can blind sap Cubsy later on and set up a kill onto Wealthy Man. New Kitty Cat's looking very good right now.
Yeah, but Jamili with no ice block, he's going to be vulnerable. RubCub has the Divine Shield to keep him alive. Jamili's almost reset his combustion by spamming out the fireballs as well. Wealthy Man in a lot of trouble. If Roasties can land the crowd control, look at Cubsy. He's doing a great job line of sighting at this point. Roasty's going to get Nova. They know exactly what they want to do. They're actually just going after Cubsy. All in. What are they going to be able to do? Combustion gets traded out. Cubsy in so much trouble. Barkskin gets used, but he manages to escape. Wealthy Man with a nice spell steal, removing that combustion from Jamili. Denies a lot of the incoming damage, and unfortunately for M2KC, they really didn't get much from that setup.
Cloud9 survived the swap, but no Gladiator's Medallion, no ice blocks. It's looking like it's going to be very dangerous for Cloud9. We're 30 seconds away from dampening, but Jamili using that ice block earlier could be an opening for Cloud9 to try and take. Rubcub securing crowd control. Wealthy Man could be in trouble. He tries to intercept Rubcub with a polymorph as well. Both healers in crowd control, but Rubcub comes out first, which means Wealthy Man's going to be in more trouble. He spell steals a Blessing of Protection. It gets spell stolen back, and now Wealthy Man is exposed, but they can't get the follow-up. There's the full blind, no trinket, but there's no spell steal for the Gladiator safeguard. They're going to have to break through it, and they can't. Roasty's in a polymorph. He can't connect. Cubsy's going to sit through the blinds totally fine, I think. Potentially not if the damage is still there. Roasty shadow stepping in. Rubcub moving across, looking for potentially a reset on the Hammer of Justice. He needs to get a stun as soon as possible before the Gladiator's Medallion. If he can get a Hammer of Justice any second now, Wealthy Man will fall. Maybe he doesn't even need it. This is insane damage right now. Rubcub going to use Sacrifice to break crowd control and get on target. Looking for that Hammer, laying down the Law, laying down the smack here in game one. M2KC race against the temporal clock. Can they kill Wealthy Man before it goes off? It doesn't even heal for anything. If we see the Iron Bark active, is that even going to be enough? M2KC dealing devastating damage, but Cloud9 deny.
Snuts is the only reason why Wealthy Man is still alive here. Jamili unfortunately missing that Ring of Frost there as well means that Cubsy should still be able to keep him alive.
Oh my.
Okay.
He's just gonna go down to the sheer pressure.
It wasn't even combustion.
Cubsy actually had a little bit inefficient pathing there at the end. He should have just stayed around that Ring of Frost. He walked around the pillar when he should have just tried to get a couple of regrowths out there. So Snuts actually did a great job prior to that to shut down the polymorph spam from Jamili as well to allow them to recover from that, but so much damage coming out there.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, and that's one of the reasons why we say this Rogue Mage Paladin is very, very strong in general, right? Like, we talk about a lot of comps having to wait until dampening to get the kill, but Rogue Mage Paladin is not one of those compositions. The Fire Mage packs a punch, but more importantly, the Holy Paladin packs a significant punch here as well.
Yeah, Rubcub does so much damage. This was such a nice preemptive Hand of Sacrifice here to make sure that he gets to stay aggressive without trading out his Divine Shield, and it allows, of course, his team to be aggressive as well. He gets the Hammer of Justice. Cubsy, he could have preemptively Ironbarked it and tanked it in line of sight. Instead, there it is. Counterspell onto Jamili. Here's Snuts. Smoke bombs that polymorph there. Cubsy was not in time with shifting that one. And here's the inefficient pathing I was talking about. So here, Jamili goes for the sheep on Snuts. Dragon's Breath misses the Ring of Frost there. And here, Cubsy goes around the pillar when Jamili, actually he had his counterspell, so he would still have to fake that out. But I think walking around like that just costed him too many precious seconds there where he could have been potentially healing. So unfortunate for C9, but a nicely played game one from M2KC.
Yeah, I can only imagine from Cubsy's point of view, I do sympathize with him a little bit. Like, he'd been healing through pressure for so long, there's no way he had any Swift Mends left, right? So at that point, you have two options. You either, well, I mean, you have to cast to actually get effective healing out, and Jamili did a good job holding his counter spells. So almost an impossible situation for Cubsy, but ultimately M2KC, all of them just played that game really well. Even the offensive ice block from Jamili, it's something that we've definitely seen from him in the past. Sometimes we'll be critical of it, sometimes we'll really like it. But I think here it was a fantastic play, forcing Cubsy's trinket off cadence with the blind.
I like the offensive ice blocks in general we've been seeing today. We saw Alec do it, even though it didn't net them the kill. I think that was the right play, and in Method Orange's series, Wealthy Man did it as well, and it won them the game again when they killed Trill. Here, it was a big factor as well to why they forced out Cubsy's trinket, and then they had that blind attempt later on. So I feel like the mages, they have been on point with their offensive ice blocks. I've always been a big supporter of people, using offensive ice blocks, using ice blocks in general.
Yeah, when it comes to Zico ice block, it's not even a trinket. It's just like a rotational ice block. It's like, oh, I have a bleed on me. I don't have any bleeds on me. It's an arcane mage. I have a slow. I'm just trying to kite them right now. But M2KC with the victory here. And I mean, Cloud9, we've been talking about them, talking them up the entire year. It would be pretty incredible if they didn't make it through to a grand final.
I think this is actually what I predicted. I predicted Method Orange to beat Cloud9 and M2KC to beat Cloud9 as well.
That's true.
Or the finals being Method Orange and M2KC. But, I mean, M2KC, they're playing this out well. they had an absurd amount of damage at the end of that game. I mean,
incredible.
Combustion had his Jamili had his Combustion available, and he didn't even use it. I mean, they're having M2KC is having these offensive cooldowns like Vendetta and Combustion ready to go, and they just kill without even using them. It really is impressive. Cloud9 was just on the back foot for most of that game. I have to agree with Zico. I really like the aggressive ice block from Jamili. At that point, they had already gotten both ice blocks from Wealthy Men. So worst, you make the trade, you don't fall behind, you can continue to push the pace, which is something M2KC is really known for.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing where if you're playing the RM Paladin, like, if you try to play it as if it's an RMD, you will lose in the end because the Paladin will have worse mana. Potentially, he'll get caught up in more crowd control. But here, if they go for that aggressive playstyle, and actually, it works out perfectly for Jamili because we know Jamili to be someone that really just, I mean, I don't want to say it, but like, we talk about teams doing anything to win. Jamili would rather just lose the game instantly than win the game in 15 minutes. That's almost why we see Rosita Jones coming in as their slower-paced mage when they need it.
Rosita Jones, the dampener mage, and then Jamili,
and Jamili's just like all-in, go for the kill.
Mage. This is definitely something that only M2KC are utilizing. But I mean, Rosita Jones is also a lot more than just a mage. He's played the Demon Hunter as well with Panda Global way back when. The Demon Hunter composition, actually.
And DK.
And he's played Death Knight in the past, so he obviously has more than just...
Really is the dampener.
The mage.
He plays Destro,
Death Knight, Destro, DK.
He'll just play anything if it's needed. But, I mean, Jamili, he played the Ret Paladin last week as well. These guys have been body classing a little bit, but, I mean, to be honest, this RM Paladin is their main composition. It's very meta right now, which is fortunate. And we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, actually. There's a few North American teams that do just play a couple of compositions, right? The boys, they have a Windwalker and a Destro. If Windwalker and Destro are out of the meta, they're not going to do well. When they're in the meta, they do well. The move are kind of similar, you know, they play Shadow Priest, Rogue, and Hunter. Unfortunately for them, Shadow Priests and Hunters aren't too much in the meta right now, so that's why they're struggling. But easily, if the meta does swap around, you could see M2KC, for example, if Paladin Rogue Mage wasn't good, they would struggle a lot more.
Honestly, if Rogues aren't good, I feel like M2KC, if Assassination Rogue isn't good, I feel like M2KC is really going to struggle. So we'll have to see where we go from here. But M2KC, one thing's for sure, right now, they are looking on fire. Literally, I mean, Jamili.
Yep.
I stole that from Sid.
Yeah, you had to explain that one out, yeah. Just in case any of us didn't get it.
Yeah, I get it. No, whatever.
Tolvaron Arena, the second map choice here. M2KC, I mean, I wouldn't have expected it. Apparently, Venruki would have, but no one else was really expecting Cloud9 to be out of the tournament, potentially, before that grand final.
Yeah, well, Venruki, there's still a couple of games left. If Cloud9 has anything to say on it, they sure would like to stay here. I know Diablos, they definitely looked good too earlier on in Europe, but we all saw how that ended, you know, with me dual wielding some comms. So we're going to see Wealthy Man here making his way in, trying to get a rogue out with that Blizzard. Not going to be able to find it just yet. Both teams kind of just being a little bit cautious right now. Snuts, though, going to be opening up the game with that first punch.
If M2KC win this, I'm taking both your cones, just so you know.
You get one of them.
No, I'm going to take both.
If you were right about both regions.
Yeah, you weren't right in Europe.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
You get one cone.
All right, well, I'll take
Top
it.
negotiating.
Yeah, well, let's see what they can get done. Wealthy Man now, not too much damage early on. That was a combustion, and they didn't really have to trade much. I guess I did trade Cubsy's Trinket. I didn't see if Roasty did trade Blind, but I'm expecting that he did. But now that Cubsy has no Trinket, the next Ring of Frost could be really scary. I mean, Roasty's, he still has the Vendetta. There's a lot of offense available for M2KC. They just need the crowd control. But it seems like on these large maps, it becomes difficult for the Rogue Mage. Paladin, Cubsy position. Look at how far away he is. He's not making it easy for Rubcub to chase across the map and land these Hammer of Justice.
Rubcub, though, sneaking across, going for the double Divine Steed, securing a Hammer of Justice, and this is where M2KC needs to do some damage. They're looking for an ice block, but not able to find it. Unfortunate there for M2KC. Wealthy Man will stabilize. Now Rubcub in crowd control, although not chained together. A bit of a missed opportunity from Cloud9. Now the Avenging Crusader going to get maximum value from Rubcub. Cubsy trying to push forward and get crowd control for the team, but Bash only is not nearly going to be enough. Cyclone is, though. Jamili in trouble. Temp Shield rolling. Will it be enough before the Cauterize triggers? Looks like they are going to buy enough time. Temp Shield stabilizes Jamili.
Beautiful stuff there. I actually wanted to see Roasties try to get the sap out of that Hammer of Justice onto Cubsy. It's just one of those plays that you are going to have to make sometimes on a map like this. But this is what I kind of want to see from M2KC as well. Go behind the pillar. If Snuts overextends, try to Dragon's Breath him into a sheep. And then all of a sudden, you can set up a kill onto Snuts. And that's going to force Cubsy to move away from that super defensive positioning, because you really don't want RubCub to cross the map, because when he does, then Wealthy Man can start spamming out the polymorphs. Nice kick there from Roasties though. He's gonna allow RubCub to cross the map here. Jamili gets the sheep onto Snuts, and now Cubsy, preemptive Iron Bark, Kleptomania from Jamili. Wealthy Man, where's your counter Kleptomania? He doesn't have it. He's playing normal normal spell steal, I believe, so he can strip some of those freedoms, but that means that Jamili can go for those big Kleptomania pushes.
I think he actually does have it. He tried to take off Jamili's combustion, and Jamili just stole it back. I think is what happened there. Wealthy Man taking some pressure. There's a polymorph on Cubsy. He's got no trinket into a Dragon's Breath. Snuts looking to shut down some damage, keep Wealthy Man nice and healthy. Jamili looks for the Ring of Frost. Not going to be able to find it. RubCub in a polymorph. This could easily be Ice Block from Jamili. Doesn't overlap it with the Cauterize. Really important here for M2KC. Good plays, but right now it just seems like Cloud9 on the Mage Race is way ahead.
Yeah, Cloud9 with a target adaptation here. Jamili's in a lot of trouble. It's obviously their map selection, as you would expect this to be favored. M2KC are desperate, and they're trying to go after Cubsy. Can they gun him down in time before Jamili is taken out is now the question. Tons of damage from Jamili. Cubsy refusing to trade on very low health. Does finally make the exchange of the Iron Bar, catching a big heal. RubCub now in a polymorph. Jamili in trouble if he's not able to escape to safety. Snuts shadow steps in. Jamili drops a desperation Ring of Frost to lock Snuts in place, hopefully, as he tries to make his escape around the corner. RubCub finally out of polymorph. Jamili has stabilized. Snuts unable to connect. Roasty's continuing the push onto Cubsy, looking to get Barkskin with this stun, and they do get it. Now with no Gladiator's Medallion and no Barkskin, maybe they just outright kill him if they got the hammer. Hammer of Justice is now secured. Are you running the Guardian Affinity, Cubsy? Will you be able to recover if you aren't? Barely ducking around the corner, but M2KC seem to not care. It's kill Cubsy or lose the game at this point.
That is the vendetta of Roasties. If they can reconnect here, it's going to be big trouble for him. Roasties has the Blessing of Freedom sprint combo, but he's going to abandon that chase. Cubs is doing a great job there, surviving. And honestly, that Cyclone over onto Roasties, if he got interrupted by something like a Dragon's Breath there, that would have been lights out for him. So calculated place there from Cubs, keeping him alive on that Restoration Druid. Now RubCub looking for the Hammer of Justice. A lot of pressure over onto Wealthy Man. Jamili going for the Ring of Frost, gets interrupted by Wealthy Man. Nice counter spell. Smoke Bomb as well gets dropped here by Snuts. RubCub in a polymorph. Cubsy looking to get the Cyclone here, but it's overlapped with the polymorph, unfortunately, for C9. Wealthy Man gets the re-polymorph, but Cubsy can't go for the Cyclone because he is afraid for his life right now.
Yeah, Cubsy's sitting that blind. He knows if he trinkets out, they are going to go after him once again. He does not want to be an exposed target, so he sits through the blind. Now, Cubsy's going to be able to, effectively hold his trinket, stay alive. M2KC swaps from now on aren't going to be nearly as devastating. Wealthy Man still has both his ice blocks. He's looking good. Jamili still has 2 minutes, but he's playing really defensive. He kind of knows. I mean, at this point, Jamili doesn't want to get over-aggressive. He doesn't really have a large safety net to keep him alive. RubCub pushes in for the Hammer of Justice. Jamili just focusing on putting out pressure, but he's in a kidney shot. Big damage incoming. Kleptomania spell steal comes in. Wealthy Man, does he have his spell steal available? It doesn't look like it just yet. Jamili should be fine with the Blessing of Protection, with the Temporal Shield. RubCub going to be able to keep him alive in a prime position to just spam out heals, but the pressure from Wealthy Man and Snuts has been quite immense in this game. Jamili on the back foot, he's getting low. Sacrifice has to be traded out by RubCub, and this is a great offensive push.
They're still down 2 ice blocks. Cubsy has all of his defense available if you're M2KC at this point. I mean, maybe you try to run Cubsy out of mana with pressure. Other than that, I don't know what you can do, and you're not going to run him out of mana if he's drinking. Is Cubsy going to get any mana with this? I think that he's going to. Roasties is polymorphed. He can't help. RubCub is crowd controlled. He can't stop it, and Jamili is dead if he tries to. Temp Shield activates. Jamili stays alive through the crowd control, but Cubsy got a bit of mana back. It looks like Snuts is trying to set up some silences onto both RubCub and Jamili. Wealthy Man not able to get there for the spell steal on the Divine Favor. Roasty's keeping him at bay for the time being. M2KC sitting here with a moment of pause, trying to assess the situation. What's their best line? Perhaps it is killing Snuts behind the pillar if he's overextended this much. Wealthy-Man blinking over, connecting some damage onto Jamili along with Snuts. Looking desperately to close this game out as dampening continues to rise. But if M2KC can just even hold this position, look how much mana Cubsy has used in this small amount of time.
Yeah, definitely. Cubsy, he's going to have to keep looking for drinks, but the map certainly allows it. I think he's actually sitting down for a drink right now somewhere far, and Wealthy Man has a lot of crowd control here onto Roasty, so he should be able to recover that mana in this situation. Snuts now taking a little bit of damage, but he has a Stroke of Shadows. He has everything, and Cubsy's going to come back with a full mana bar. They have every CD here in the game left on the side of C9, but the Mew Mew Kitty Cats aren't in too bad of a spot right now. Aside from mana, they also have every cooldown working for them. Now Jamili trading out his every man for himself racial, and it's so hard for the Mew Mew Kitty Cats to find an opening here onto Cloud9. They just have to keep going for these plays on the mage. Wealthy Man taking quite a bit of damage here. Snuts getting polymorphed up, and Cubsy is going to be able to redispel that. And unfortunately, because there's no Druid on the side of Mew Mew Kitty Cats, that means Snuts, when he comes out of those polys, he just has free uptime here. And every single time he kidney shots, last time it was every man for himself. This time it's going to be the Blessing of Protection for Snuts Vendetta actually as well.
Yeah, I think that's a fair trade. I mean, at this point, RubCub doesn't want to have to use unnecessary mana, so the Vendetta comes in. He just trades out the Blessing of Protection immediately to immune that damage. RubCub moves forward. He's looking for the Hammer of Justice. Cubsy actually gets a re-stealth. Cubsy completely outplayed RubCub in that situation. Unfortunately for RubCub, Cubsy was able to escape, and now RubCub sitting in the full blind. It is looking like Cloud9 wants to get aggressive. Jamili a little bit low, but at the end of the day, it's going to be RubCub who uses the Avenging Wrath to keep his team alive. Cubsy still playing a little bit of a dance here with RubCub. The Hammer of Justice finally lands. Nicely done by RubCub as he makes the look and offensive push with the Gladiator's Maledict.
All right, let's see what they can get done with this push now. 24% into dampening. Jamili is trying to secure crowd control, but he misses the Ring of Frost. Now Cubsy will be able to heal, although maybe not. The dampening is quite high, so he's struggling. Regrowth after regrowth, not really stabilizing entirely. Divine Favor bounces Jamili back into the fight. Vendetta being crowd controlled on Roasties with Polymorph and Cyclone. Beautifully done there by Cloud9, removing that powerful cooldown. Jamili trying to recover. Snuts is a bit reluctant to overextend behind the pillar, just trying to make sure that RubCub doesn't drink. Cubsy's mana management towards the later stages of this match are certainly going to be part of the reason why his team finds victory. Jamili still being pressured. I'm just wondering if you're M2KC, what's your plan? Who's your target? Everyone right now still has so much defense remaining. It just seems like M2KC, their only plan right now is to stall.
I feel like the play to make has got to be on Cubsy. You have to go after Cubsy somehow. He's making it very, very difficult for them though, but if Jamili somehow can secure, there it is, an ice block, full sheep onto RubCub, Kleptomania by Wealthy Man, and there's the Divine Favor. Jamili's taking quite a bit of damage, but if they can connect over onto Cubsy, that would be the ideal play to make. Wealthy Man in a lot of trouble, going to be forced out and using his ice block, polymorph onto Snuts, full Ring of Frost onto Cubsy. There is an opening for the Mew Mew Kitty Cats, another polymorph onto Snuts, triple DR polymorph. Wealthy Man exits the ice block here to try to secure the counter spell, but blind comes out from Roasties. Cubsy has no trinket. There is an opening here for Mew Mew Kitty Cats. If Jamili can get a Dragon's Breath into Ring onto Cubsy, that would allow the entire team of Mew Mew Kitty Cats connecting onto Cubsy, and they can erase him from the map. It's easier said than done though. RubCub has a lot of work to do here as he uses his last bit of mana with that Avenging Crusader and that Ultimate Sacrifice.
Yeah, they're looking to make an offensive push. Wealthy Man polymorphing up Jamili. They kind of realizes that they can just survive this Avenging Crusader. RubCub's got nothing. He's got no mana. He's got no Ultimate Sacrifice. They're going to be in a prime position. Jamili with no ice block as well. Wealthy Man just has to hold on. A meteor lands. Jamili getting a little bit low. One Gladiator's Maledict lands. Wealthy Man, this could easily be a second ice block, and they're literally just killing Wealthy Man with a Hammer of Justice. It's just Hammer of Justice on Cubsy with a Gladiator's Maledict, but it looks like Jamili could easily fall. Temporal Shield as well as his Cauterized proc. I think Jamili should be able to survive. RubCub using the Divine Shield to get out of blind, but RubCub just has no mana. I think Snuts at this point is just going to be able to solo him. Cloud9 take advantage of the big map. Exceptionally well played but there's still a lot of openings for M2KC.
Yep, we're tied up 1-1 here. Incredibly close series between M2KC and Cloud9. Of course, Cloud9, when it comes to Tolvaron Arena, they are kind of the kings in North America. I think very few teams have been able to take them out on that map. One of them, Method Orange, actually able to win a map off of them, but here it was precise, Sid. It was exactly what we wanted to see from Cloud9. Play it slow and steady in dampening the Assassination Rogue, able to take down Jamili.
Classic strategy, Mage Druid, just stall the game, maintain your mana, and then 40% dampening. There you go, Snuts.
Yeah.
Go find Jamili and go kill him.
Shin.
So Cloud9 with the safe and steady strategy here on Tolvaron Arena. Certainly the pharaohs of this map. And I'm curious to see where we go to for the rest of this, because M2KC won game 1. It means that they have the swing match advantage, and they can always go to the smaller maps. So Cloud9 will have to win on a small map. Do you think they can do it?
I'm not sure if Cloud9 can win on a small map. It's definitely a tall task to do. I mean, even on this game, it was pretty close here in the end. Cubsy, he would have been out of mana a long time ago if he wasn't able to drink so many times. And also, even here, they forced out both of Wealthy Man's ice blocks, so it wasn't completely one-sided here, but like you guys already mentioned, at this point in dampening, the Druid Mage is just too strong. Snuts is just gonna go behind that pillar and fetch Jamili and get themselves a win there.
Yeah. I'm actually, one thing I want to talk about with Cloud9 here is, and we've had over the last couple of weeks a lot of questions and conversations about their Rogue Mage Druid. They have a very unique style. None of the European teams play this way. None of the other North American teams play this way, where they just will happily sit back and wait for the game to come to them, basically. They'll wait for the dampening. But, I mean, even Get Your Boy Dog, when they played against Jamili earlier today, they were really pushing the issue, looking for crowd control. Baby Cakes was an old rogue, but they actually were getting crowd control, and they almost won that series with that more aggressive style.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What was the question?
I'm wondering, like, how do you weigh up the two strategies? Which do you think's better?
Well, I'm a big fan of aggression in general, but I feel like it depends on your matchup a little bit. It's just one of those situations where if you can keep them offensive, then all of a sudden you're not going to be defensive, right? So, if you can stay offensive, they're going to have to be defensive. So I kind of like that the offensive approach, but it's all about calculated aggression. I feel like if you, as a Rogue Mage Druid, make a mistake, Cubsy goes in for one cyclone too many, he missed positions, your rogue cloaks offensively, anything like that, you can get punished immediately and get erased. So you have to be very careful, but I think if you can find those opportunities where you go for crowd control, it's definitely beneficial to do so.
It's really interesting. For M2KC, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of the ice, I think both ice blocks they got were just a Hammer of Justice with a Maledict.
Yeah.
They literally were just getting
just
ice
damage. It's crazy.
Yeah, just pure damage. Cubsy falls a little behind. Red Cub charges in, and they use the Maledict to soak up the heal over time effects, and they can just get an ice block in that short window. And that's really scary for Cloud9. I mean, if on a smaller map, Jamili can extend the crowd control chain, it's certainly going to be at least an ice block more consistently in the match, and they might just fall over during hypothermia.
Well, we will have to see if that does end up happening. Is it going to be the damage from M2KC, or is it going to be the consistent grind from Cloud9 that makes it through to the grand finals? We're ready to hop straight into game here for map 3. Of course, the small map selected by M2KC. And one little thing, I was looking through the builds of the players during that last game, and one thing about Jamili's build actually caught out to me. I think he's the only player we've seen throughout the entire weekend that isn't actually using the Safeguard trinket. He's using an unused trinket and the Maledict, maybe going for a little bit of offense, but since he's the main target, that's definitely high risk, high reward.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand it, though. It really feels like for M2KC, their win condition is damage. Like, they need to really be putting Cloud9 on the back foot. So I can understand Jamili wanting to use, more offensive trinkets. That's kind of what he's known for. I mean, he kind of throws caution to the wind in a lot of matchups. In the last game, there has been actually a few times today where I've been surprised. It seems like M2KC, they really have been, opting for more of a defensive posture. Right now, Jamili, he gets a Coptic Heroic Silence, Cubsy in a Hammer of Justice into a full blind. He's sitting the blind, doesn't want to trinket out on the small map. That's going to be the Combustion, and that's Cubsy's cue. He's going to trade out his trinket. Once combustion gets used, that's the major offensive cooldown for M2KC. Cubsy can comfortably trade out his trinket, keep Wealthy Man alive, help him hold on to his ice block, and I think that was really patient play there by Cubsy. Well done.
Oh, it's only one cooldown, though. Perhaps in the future he will be in trouble with Avenging Crusader and Vendetta. Cubsy counterspell. Beautiful offense here from M2KC. Smoke bomb going to be dropped by Roasties. Vendetta popped, and surely this is going to be an ice block. Wealthy Man's trying to blink away and hold on to it, but that Gladiator Safeguard is going to get totally erased, and ice block will have to be traded, and you can already see the small map advantage to M2KC.
Yeah, a lot of damage here. Good opener for M2KC, and Cubsy also doesn't have his trinket. He has to be very, very careful in this situation to not get deleted here by M2KC. Wealthy Man as well, a consistent target for them to go after. Snuts is dipping in and out behind the pillar, building up his combo points, looking to secure a kidney shot. Roasty's now in a polymorph. Presumably, Cubsy's going to try to get a cyclone. Not able to find it right now. Now, Rob Cub pushing in. This is the setup. Kidney shot onto Wealthy Man. Cubsy, preemptive Iron Bark. Nicely done.
And it looks like Cubsy in the crowd control is really going to be able to find the Ring of Frost. Unfortunately, not able to. Wealthy Man should be able to hold on. The Iron Bark really making him durable in the situation. Another offensive push here by Cloud9. Jamili in some trouble. Temporal Shield's rolling. Rubcub caught in crowd control, but the Temporal Shield bounces Jamili back up. Massive heal incoming, well timed. Divine Favor now lands, and that will stabilize M2KC. Cubsy now kidney shot. They're going all in. But Wealthy Man, he gets off the combustion. Jamili takes it back. Cubsy's still in so much trouble, Sid.
Cubsy still in so much trouble. Gladiator Safeguard going to be taken off, and he does manage to recover, jumping to Wealthy Man. Roasty's not going to keep chasing, instead switching to Wealthy Man. He's still down one block blind. No, it's on diminishing return. Big mistake by Roasties. That could have been potentially an ice block if that blind was used just a few seconds later.
Big mistake from Roasties, and also I gotta commend Wealthy Man. Whenever they do those pushes on the side of M2KC, he has to immediately try to use his Kleptomania to get rid of that combustion, because that forces Jamili to either Kleptomania his combustion back or allow Cubsy to survive with that Gladiator Safeguard, because he won't have his Kleptomania for that, as Klepto puts the spell seal on a 30-second cooldown. So Wealthy Man definitely doing a good job here, keeping his Druid alive in that situation, but now Wealthy Man on the back foot. There's the Hammer of Justice. No Iron Bark available. Jamili going for the Ring of Frost. Secures it. Wealthy Man, what are you going to do? This is surely an ice block or a trinket. Cubsy actually trading out the trinket in this situation. I actually like that trade, since Roasties essentially wasted his blind. It should line up with it pretty nicely.
Yeah, looks like Jamili, he had really good positioning there. Rubcub got caught into a polymorph. Jamili got out of line of sight, activated the Temporal Shield before the kidney shot. Really well played. Blessing Protection now coming in from Rubcub. That's going to help keep him alive. Wealthy Man can't really take it off, because like we kind of talked about, if he uses his Kleptomania, guess what? Jamili takes it back. He gets all those heal over time effects. Cubsy with the Iron Bark keeps Wealthy Man alive. There's the bash onto Rubcub. Is there a polymorph? Wealthy Man finds it, and now Jamili in some trouble, but he has Snuts and a polymorph behind the pillar. Snuts gets out. Jamili's still trying to keep himself alive. He's hiding behind the pillar. He does not want Wealthy Man to be able to assist Snuts with that kidney shot damage. He has to wait till Rubcub's out of crowd control.
All right, let's see if they can keep it going here. Cubsy with no Gladiator's Medallion. Blind going to be up here shortly. Rubcub trying to stabilize, trading Divine Shield to avoid crowd control, but even still not able to top off Jamili. Roasties, when is that blind going to be available? They need to net an ice block with it, or maybe even just potentially kill Cubsy in the near future. Rubcub anticipating damage here, activating the sacrifice, going for the Hammer of Justice. M2KC looking to secure game-winning crowd control. Ring of Frost has landed. Wealthy Man going to pop Temporal Shield to absorb all of the damage while his healer is crowd controlled, and hopefully buy enough time for it to go off, but its healing effect not too significant. Sap out of the chain into the Dragon's Breath. Gladiator Safeguard gets absolutely destroyed, and M2KC pushing through for the final point of damage to get an ice block, and they do manage to do so, overlapped with the Iron Bark, and suddenly Cloud9's defense is totally blown out.
Beautiful setup here from M2KC. They secured the polymorph on Snuts, they secured the Ring of Frost, and now they also are going to have a full blind here. If Roasties is quick with the trigger here, there it is onto Rubcub. He's going to use his Blessing of Protection to get out of that one. Roasties, where is your blind onto Cubsy? And there it is, kidney shot on Jamili. Cubsy gets blinded, trinkets out of that one. Now, M2KC are one setup away from securing the match over onto Wealthy Man. So Wealthy Man, what are you going to do about this? He needs to have good defense for himself. He needs to shut down the setup. Snuts needs to commit his Cloak of Shadows to avoid getting crowd control. Jamili now forced into his own ice block here as we see Cloud9 turning up their heat.
Yeah, this is a very back and forth game. Cubsy has the Iron Bark for the combustion of Jamili, but RubCub still in a polymorph. Rosie's into Cyclone. Control in favor of Cloud9. Jamili trying to survive. He's trying to run away. RubCub finally gets there for a big Holy Light. Smoke Bomb drops out. Nicely played by Snuts. If this is the Cauterize, it's going to be massive. Wealthy Man throwing in some damage. Interrupt now secured by Jamili. On to Cubsy. Snuts trades out his Cloak of Shadows, and maybe Snuts could be a good target. He's got no Cloak. He's got no Vanish. Maybe M2KC decide to put their attention there, but no. They're still going after Wealthy Man, but I'm not sure. Wealthy Man's looking really healthy in this position.
All right, let's see if they can hold out and finish M2KC on the small map. If they can, they'll get the swing match advantage and be solid to advance in the series. Beautiful preemptive read by RubCub, allowing his team a little bit of time to keep pushing forward for the final ice block. They need to swing off of this momentum and get it right now. They're not finding their sticking point. They aren't able to push through and get the block. Cubsy's in a position very far away from RubCub. He's trying to close that gap, mounting up across, looking for the hammer. Can he find it? Cubsy preempts the hammer with the Iron Bark, and now Jamili will be the one in trouble. If any crowd control is landed onto RubCub, this is easily going to be the end of the game. Roasty stalls by stunning Wealthy Man, but now Roasty's a Cyclone. Wealthy Man blinks in for the game-winning Poly. Jamili denies it for a moment. Cubsy gets potentially the game-winning Cyclone instead. Jamili is isolated. He Dragon's Breath Snuts to buy a couple of seconds, pops the Temporal on top of the safeguard, and he needs that to be enough while RubCub gets through the crowd control, and RubCub does finally manage to do so. Jamili sneaks in with a Poly. That Polymorph could be just enough for M2KC to get a block happening very high at this point. Temporal Shield may not be enough. The Gladiator's Maledict going to absorb some of its healing, a lot of its healing, basically the entirety of it. They are forced to desperately blind Roasties to hold his vendetta at bay.
Yeah, that was a really nice defensive blind by Snuts, and this is what Helixstar was talking about in the pregame, but they might get the ice block regardless. Once again, overlapped here with the ice block, and now they don't have the blind either. RubCub actually had no breakers out of that one, so that was their win condition. Jamili has the combustion. Either team one setup away from potentially securing the game. Snuts is gonna go first. Full cycle onto Roasties. Jamili trinkets out of the kidney shot. RubCub with the Divine Favor heal is gonna stabilize Jamili. Temporal Shield is active. The defensive blind onto Snuts. I don't like that play. Now Cubsy can trinket out of that next Ring of Frost and keep his mage going here. No punish going to be available for that. RubCub now in a full polymorph. Wealthy Man looking to be the one punishing here. Snuts catches Jamili in a full kidney shot. RubCub with a defensive Hammer of Justice. What is M2KC doing here? Their offense is just completely faltering.
Yeah, it's completely falling apart. Ultimate Sacrifice comes in from RubCub. Jamili's going to be low. He's not getting topped off. RubCub can't heal him in this position. Cubsy gets interrupted. Wealthy Man taking a little bit of damage. Keep in mind, Wealthy Man, he still has no ice block. He's in some trouble as well. If Cubsy gets caught in any crowd control, I mean, Cubsy has no mana. Wealthy Man could easily fall in this situation. M2KC with just raw damage could win the game. They used a lot of their offense defensively. Wealthy Man still just rotting down low. He's barely holding on. Snuts trying to take Jamili down, puts him in a kidney shot. Cubsy doing everything he can to keep Wealthy Man alive, sitting down for a drink, but if he gets denied, I think Wealthy Man's going to easily fall, but he's getting away with it potentially. I don't know if he can really recover. Smoke Bomb drops in by Snuts. Nicely done, denying any damage Jamili can put out. Spell Steal comes in. That's going to be enough for Jamili to survive, and Wealthy Man once again on the back foot.
Most importantly, I think the Smoke Bomb stopped Jamili from spell stealing the Blessing of Protection back, keeping Wealthy Man alive for a second longer, but that second is now over. RubCub laying down the hammer once again here in game number 3, advancing to match point.
This is absolutely incredible. M2KC just coming in with raw damage. Their crowd control is great and everything about it, but ultimately at the end of the day, the damage coming in from RubCub and Jamili on this Fire Mage is insane, and I was actually really impressed by Jamili's different builds. I talked about him not playing the Safeguard. He actually didn't have it on the larger map, but on the smaller map he does play it. So he's really min-maxing between maps where he needs to be the aggressor, going for those kills, and in a map like this where they feel like they can just win aggressively, he goes for the more defensive option. And I mean, honestly, M2KC, a lot of their decision making makes sense, and they are one game away from eliminating Cloud9.
Yeah, I actually criticized them a little bit for that defensive blind, but Cubsy being out of mana actually makes it the correct play to make here. So nicely done by Roasties, and like you kind of mentioned, they just needed to hold on here. They force out you know, the entire mana bar of Cubsy, and I gotta say here, Cubsy, when he sits down for that drink, gets one tick just to keep his mage going for a little bit longer. That defensive smoke bomb from Snuts. All of these players playing at such a high level here, trying to keep the game going for a little bit longer, but ultimately it is that Avenging Crusader of RubCub that secures the kill and that keeps the entire team of M2KC topped up and ready to go.
Yeah, and Venruki and I were looking at it a little bit. Obviously, you guys don't have it on your screens, but we actually have the damage breakdown from that game. Just trying to, I was about to tell you, CK. You don't have to like
cheating, no peeking.
I get excited,
No
okay?
peeking. You get excited. Well, obviously, Snuts and Roasties, they're both playing Assassination Rogues, both doing essentially identical damage. The big thing is that Jamili is doing double the damage of Wealthy Man in the game, and moreover, RubCub did the same damage as Wealthy Man essentially in that game.
That was a 10-minute game too.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute game. The Holy Paladin is doing the same damage as the Frost Mage, so they basically get a free Jamili on top of that, and that's the difference. That's why Cubsy doesn't have any mana left.
I mean, it's why he's struggling so much in the match to keep Wealthy Man alive, and like we kind of talked about it, I mean, there wasn't much crowd control coming in from M2KC. I mean, there was moments where they were getting it, but a lot of the time it was just off the back of, you know, little micro crowd controls and big burst damage, and eventually they just won the game because Cubsy, he had nothing left. He's got no mana. Jamili doing so much damage, of course, RubCub as well on that Holy Paladin really assisting, and Wealthy Man struggling to get out counter pressure.
Yeah, and I feel for him because there's just unrelenting pressure on the side of M2KC, even when, you know, Snuts has been doing MVP plays the entire series. He's bombing polymorphs, he's making denials constantly. Same with Wealthy Man. We were talking about during the game, I think Zico highlighted this one, the fact that as soon as M2KC goes for a setup, he's pre-polymorphing. He's playing so good. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's just a hammer of justice and the damage is there.
Yeah, I mean, M2KC are just all about bringing the damage and packing the heat, but on the larger maps, are they going to fizzle out? We saw them fizzle out on Tolvaron. Now Ashamane's the obvious lock-in for Cloud9.
Yep.
They won the Grand, though. I mean, they did.
The Grand is... I still think the Grand
Are you sure? I think that's like in the eye of the beholder.
Well, I mean, they won the Grand, but I don't think the Grand is the same as Ashamane. I'm measuring whether or not Ashamane's and the Grand are even, like, they're similar in the style,
fair,
but in terms of size, I think Ashamane's is still far bigger. You've got a lot more space in the back of the pillar where RubCub has to continue to push through to be able to stun Cubsy. I think it's certainly better than Nagrand. Nagrand more even, it feels like, in between the two fields of small and big. It's going to come down more to your actual play rather than just the map dictating whether or not your healer can stand an extra 20 yards away from RubCub where he gets polymorph trying to cross the field. So as long as Cubsy doesn't make any significant errors in this map, I do anticipate Game 5 here.
I mean, quite potentially, yeah, but this goes back to my conversation I started having after Game 2. You know, Tolvaron Arena was close between Cloud9 and M2KC. There was no mana left on Cubsy. Wealthy Man almost died, and this is something about Cloud9's Rogue Mage. They play so passively, and they just kind of wait for the game to come to them. Against M2KC, who are just doing significantly more damage, I feel like you can't necessarily win that war every single time, especially if Game 5 is going to be on a small map. Maybe we want to see Cloud9 playing a little bit more proactively here, going for those Cyclones, because that's the main advantage they have. The Paladin's essentially naked when the Druid pushes on top of him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a big fan of the aggressive play, so if you can shut down a Hammer of Justice setup, that is a window where M2KC aren't going to be able to secure crowd control. That's when you should be pushing in. Look for the bash if you can. Look for these plays. And I feel like even for Cubsy's safety, does he have Bark Skin? If he does, and does RubCub not have Hammer of Justice? If the answer is no, then you can go in, even if you get swapped to. I don't think that Cubsy just dies in a single kidney shot like that. So I feel like you're completely right, Adrian. They need to take a little bit more risk if they're going to be able to win this matchup.
Well, it is 2-1 in favor of M2KC. I saw Venruki hovering the comb as he did predict Cloud9 wouldn't make it to the Grand Finals. I think most of us thought they would. Certainly I did. Cubsy, Snuts, and Wealthy Man. We've been talking about their Rogue Mage non-stop in the last couple of weeks. Is it going to be tested here by M2KC? Or moreover, is it going to be tested to the brink, to the breaking point, to the point where M2KC and Method Orange are the two teams in the Grand Final?
All right, let's see if the Mew Mew Kitty Cats can keep Venruki's prediction alive and also keep their potential summer final dreams alive as the point standings are so close in the North American region. They would love to get a first place finish. They managed to get at least one cup in their pocket, but if they get 2, that's certainly going to seal a spot for them in the summer finals. RubCub casually sitting through a blind. That is not good for Cloud9 initially. If M2KC can now reverse crowd control, RubCub closes the gap, secures the hammer. Wealthy Man's going to be taking a lot of damage potentially if he can't avoid Roasties, who has the Blessing of Freedom active, so he cannot be snared. Roasties is going to get a lot of uptime. RubCub moving over to support the team as well with some judgments. 1 second left on this Ring of Frost. Gets sapped out by Roasties. They're committing for an all-out assault. They break through the Gladiator safeguard and they get the first ice block. All aggression all the time from M2KC.
Cubsy actually leapt through that Ring of Frost. I think Jamili may have missed it, and Cubsy actually just jumped into it. That was really unfortunate. And now, Cloud9, they're on the back foot. I mean, M2KC, they're looking good. They still got Vendetta. They still got Smoke Bomb. There's the full blind on Cubsy. Wealthy Man going to be in some trouble.
Yep, full blind. Roasties has the Vendetta active, and Cubsy doesn't want to trinket out of this one. Hammer of Justice. Cubsy trinkets out of that one, but this is still a lot of pressure. Might have to trade out his Iron Bark as well here to stabilize Wealthy Man. Wealthy Man is looking good for now. Activating his Frozen Orb over onto Jamili. Nice cyclone onto Roasties. Cubsy now finally looking to make some offensive plays here. Gets Dragon's Breath on it, but it's DR. Jamili, what is he going to do? He's Kidney Shot. RubCub in a cyclone. Can't break out. He's spamming that Hand of Sacrifice, and he gets it in between the gap there. You hate to see that.
Cubsy counterspelled, an opportunity for M2KC to try and net the second ice block from Wealthy Men before the 2-minute mark. That would be devastating. This is supposed to be Cloud9 territory on these large maps, but RubCub is just constantly keeping Cubsy under pressure, staying right on top of him. Hammer Justice secured, and M2KC continue pushing, but RubCub's polymorph, he can't add in any damage. Jamili is being pressured. He can't really add in any damage, and Iron Bar from Cubsy should be enough due to the stalling crowd control of Cloud9. Jamili now potentially in trouble. His Temporal about to go off and heal him, but maybe not for a significant amount. Big Comet Storm by Wealthy Man. He's crashing in. Divine Favor heal. RubCub stabilizing Jamili. Another counterspell on Cubsy. An opportunity for M2KC once again to push for the second block.
Nice klepto right there. Wealthy Man kleptos Jamili. Jamili immediately klepted back right before he got stunned there, allowing himself to keep some of that defense. Double Ring of Frost by Jamili. This is 100% an ice block from Wealthy Man. There's no way he's not going to have to ice block here. RubCub has the Hammer of Justice. Roasties, there we go. Ice block secured. Nice Maledict there as well. And Roasties can keep this chain going for a little bit longer. They have the Hammer of Justice. Snuts caught up in a Frost Nova. Wealthy Man's ice block. And this is going to be an Iron Bark for sure from Cubsy to survive this situation here. Wealthy Man taking a lot of damage, but Cubsy's trying to hold it. RubCub gets blinded up on the Divine Favor heal, and I think Cubsy can actually hold on to it with that greed. Nice DR Cyclone here onto Roasties. Should allow Wealthy Man to stabilize for now, but it's Jamili on the back foot.
Yeah, Jamili running away. He's trying to line of sight Wealthy Man. Big burst though with this Icy Veins, with the Comet Storm. Cyclone comes in. A little bit of a mistiming there on that Temporal Shield. Jamili does manage to get a little bit of that healing. Now Jamili in a little bit of trouble still. RubCub needs to try to keep him alive. Full blind on Cubsy. He trinkets out. Kidney Shot on Wealthy Man. Looks like Roasty's trying to set up his team. He's got the Vendetta. Cubsy trying desperately to hold on to the Iron Bar for as long as possible. In the meantime, Cloud9, they forced Jamili into that ice block. It wasn't overlapped with Cauterize, so they still have that available, but they're managing to continue the crowd control chain. Jamili's still in some trouble. If they get Cauterize, this is going to be big for Cloud9.
Avenging Crusader up for RubCub. He's going to be doing a lot of extra damage. If they can crowd control Cubsy at the same time, it might be lights out for Cloud9. RubCub's charging in. There's the hammer. Jamili is still low, though. Cubsy pre-reads the stun in Iron Barks. It needs to be enough, but will it? It should be, with Wealthy Man polymorphing RubCub, removing his damage from the fight, perfectly timed. But the crowd control continues from Jamili as well, with the Dragon's Breath to follow up. Big Pyroblast coming in. Gladiator Safeguard. Where's the Spell Steal? Doesn't look like Jamili's going to go for the Spell Steal in this position. Wealthy Man maintains with his shield. Now Cloud9 look to counterattack. RubCub cycloned and Jamili in trouble. This could be the sacrifice from RubCub. They're trying to hold on to it as long as they can, and they do manage to for now. Temporal ticking him back to full. No Iron Bark for 9. Cold Snap in a minute. Cloud9 needs to stall.
Both mages right now, no counterspells available, so that means a setup could be secured here. Not really any stops here for RubCub. He gets Hammer of Justice, Sheep onto Snuts, Ring of Frost, Kidney Shot onto Wealthy Man. It looks good. This could be the game, Sid.
This could be the game as all three members of M2KC connect, but the chain gets dropped. Cubsy connects a couple of heals, potentially stabilizing the team for the counter-attack. Full blind on Rubcub. Divine Shield available, and he's going to have to decide when to commit it, to chain it together with the Blessing of Sacrifice. I feel like it's almost necessary at this point, but Jamili's not in line of sight. He blinks out of line of sight. Rubcub manages to get there just in time, sacrificing Jamili on very low health.
Yeah, Cubsy actually manages to find the Cyclone, so Rubcub's not going to be able to top him off. Now Rubcub very susceptible to crowd control. Full blind on Cubsy. Roasty's looking to set up his team. There's the full kitty shot. Wealthy Man in some trouble. He's got 15 seconds left on his ice block. M2KC know it. They want to push through. They want to take him down. Can they do it? Wealthy Man is so low. Overwhelming damage, but a massive temporal shield keeps Wealthy Man alive. He's got 3 seconds on his ice block. He bought himself enough time. Such a close call for Wealthy Man, but he manages to hold on. Now Rubcub uses the Avenging Crusader, wants to try to top off Jamili and keep his team aggressive.
Unbelievable. Wealthy Man, he was 1% HP right there. Could have easily gone down and secured the series here for M2KC, but they're still in the game. Wealthy Man, though, gonna have 2 ice blocks in about 30 seconds, so it's looking good. They need to start firing on their pressure over onto Cubsy here. Cubsy running around the pillar. Wealthy Man, Rubcub gets the Hammer of Justice. Wealthy Man taking a lot of damage from this Vendetta, and it just looks like they might brute force it here. They forced out the ice block, and more importantly, that was the cold snap ice block. Wealthy Man had about 10 or 15 seconds left on his actual ice block to come back off cooldown, so M2KC can still go after this mage here. Had that setup happened a little bit later, that would have been big trouble here for M2KC.
Both teams running out of cooldowns, dampening, getting up very high, and this is looking difficult for both sides. This isn't guaranteed for Cloud9. I thought it would be more one-sided for them, but M2KC are just constantly keeping up their aggression. Rubcub moves in for the stun, but gets clotheslined by Wealthy Man with the full polymorph. Jamili could be in trouble. Snuts with follow-up on the sap. Rubcub breaks it with Blessing of Protection, but now he can't use that on Jamili. He has to power through with heals. One big Holy Light. He needs another. He gets the second, but even that not looking like it's doing too much. Smoke bomb from Snuts. It whiffs. Jamili blinks out. Frost Nova Snuts. Snuts cloaks out to stay on target. They know they have Jamili on the ropes with Rubcub in the blind. Tons of damage, but they don't have the chain. Rubcub gets the sacrifice. Jamili will stay alive, and now he can counterattack. If they crowd control Cubsy at all, Wealthy Man surely will go down. Snuts polymorph very far away. Cubsy tried to drink to regenerate mana. He's trying to come back to the fight 3 seconds behind without Iron Bark. Can he stabilize? Can he keep his team in the game? If Rubcub gets intercepted for this hammer, it could be game over for their team. He gets the hammer. Wealthy Man could easily fall, even with the Iron Bark active at 18%, but Wealthy Man blinks away, controlling Roasties. Now Jamili on the back foot. Avenging Crusader needs to be enough. One big judgment from Rubcub, bouncing Jamili back in the fight with the temp. And now look, Jamili, he's got another ice block. M2KC, they could still have this.
That was the every man for himself from Wealthy Man. Roasties just got his smoke bomb back. There's a blind over onto Cubsy. They could easily take down Wealthy Man with a smoke bomb. I think he's gonna go for it here. Let's see. Jamili didn't activate his combustion. I really wanted to see a smoke bomb play right there. No Iron Bark as well. I really think they could have just won the game at the back of that, but it might not matter. Ring of Frost fully secured. There is the Vendetta. There is the combustion. Wealthy Man, how are you going to survive here? 1% HP, and he is gonna go down. Disrespect smoke bomb from Roasties. M2KC is going to the finals, and Venruki is getting my comb.
Yeah, I think Venruki gets 2 combs for that one. Excellent gameplay from M2KC. Incredible damage, offense, and everything that we love to see. It is the RM Paladin going through. Venruki is your victor, betting on Jamili and the team to pull through here. And I mean, hey, absolutely fantastic series coming in from the guys. You've got to take it for them, because Cloud9, with this Rogue Mage Druid, we thought no one might be able to beat them. They actually get beaten by both of the teams, and now they won't even make it to the grand final.
I feel like it was destiny for Sidu and Jamili to play in the grand finals of today's tournament.
It's going to be so good.
This is going to be an interesting game.
And you know what? I actually think the Paladin might add a little bit of flair here against that Restoration Shaman from Sidu. But I mean, Sidu on Shaman versus Jamili on Mage, that's a tale of the ages, Zico.
Yeah, this is a very, very old matchup. You know, both of these people have been competing for a really, really long time here, so it's going to be exciting to see M2KC and Method Orange fight off in a grand final best of 7. But here at the end of this one here, I really gotta say I like what M2KC were doing in this game. They got the Hammer of Justice, they got the Polymorph to force out the counterspell, and there it is, full Ring of Frost, Combustion available, and there it is, strips off that Temporal Shield with the Kleptomania, and then of course Rosie's has his Vendetta, Smoke Bomb, Jamili with the Combustion as well, so much damage, and they're gonna be able to knock Cloud9 out of the tournament. And I feel like Cloud9 has been making finals pretty consistently as well. Mendruki, you can stop combing yourself now, your hair looks good.
I think his hair looked good before his coming. I think he's rubbing it in a little bit.
I think so too.